Hi everyone. With the end of the semester starting to come around the corner, I wanted to talk a little bit about some expectations for the final, talk about a couple things in the syllabus that are going to be changed prior to us getting into one little concept this week. For your final, I'm going to start to kind of give you a little bit of things, and then once we get a little bit closer, I'll make a much longer post about it. I've been asking you to work on exercises on page 84 and 85. As of right now, what we're going to do is for your final, you'll need to do number 6, which is on page 84. I was asking you guys to do number 7 and a few exercises that came before number 6. You can start to kind of phase those out and just slowly start to work on number 6 on page 84. Second, in your syllabus, because we are kind of in this limbo of week 12 and week 13 due to the extended spring break, there will not be a guitar performance test prior to the final exam. So you can scratch that out. Don't worry about it. It's not important. Your next guitar performance test will be part of your final. If you would like to get together prior to your guitar performance test to work on things, I have a lot of open availability. So please let me know what isn't working for you, and we can get on Zoom or WebEx and just kind of go from there, a little one-on-one session. In your syllabus, there is a guitar listening assignment for listenings 3 and 4. That is still a go. So if you look in the Google Drive folder, which is attached to the video description, I have the assignment listed there, along with the PowerPoint from when we talked about extended guitar techniques at the beginning of the semester. I know it's been a while, and obviously, we can't get together and talk about them again, so I've included the PowerPoint. Please make sure that you do look over it again before you jump into the video. If for some reason you can't access the PowerPoint, for some reason it's not working, please let me know as soon as possible. Don't wait till the last minute to tell me. I'll make sure that I'll tweak it in any way that I need to for you guys. For your guitar listening assignment, you'll need to type it out. Please make sure that your answers are in complete sentences. Please make sure that anything that you discuss, if you're talking about a specific technique that you see in the video, please make sure that you put a timestamp. So at minute 3:15, he or she does blank. The more description that you give, obviously, the better your grade is going to be. There are 2 really great videos that Francois put together. The second one is really different, so I'm excited to see your responses to it. Also, make sure that you are working on your E bar chords. We're not going to talk about it again, but you should be just every day just kind of getting used to that first finger coming down. Rewatch some of the old videos if you need to for some tips and tricks. If you're still having troubles, please reach out to me. I will have some worksheets for you guys to kind of help you guys to get a little bit more comfortable with your bar chords, but that will be on Wednesday. Last but not least, you should still be working on RLE, the melody, the bass line, and for right now, the strumming pattern should still just be in quarter notes just to get used to that. You're only using open chords. You're not working on bar chords with RLE unless you want to. I will kind of break down RLE a little bit more on Wednesday and give you more of a specific strum pattern that you guys are going to be asked to do for the final. So in the meantime, keep working on RLE, keep working on your E bar chords, and start really working on number 6 on page 84, forgetting number 7, forgetting the other exercises that you found on page 85. Okay, so we are going to get into just one new concept for this week, and it's really kind of going off of what we're doing with the bar chords rooted on the E string. There's another type of bar chord that you can have that's rooted on the A string, which again is going to be our 5th string here. A lot of the times when you're doing bar chords, sometimes if you try to use all bar chords rooted on the low E string, you're going to notice that a lot of the times you're going to be jumping up and down the guitar neck a whole lot, especially if you're doing like a 1 to a 4 to a 5. You notice that from the 1 all the way to my 4 chord, which is a C, so G to C, I'm jumping pretty far up the guitar neck. And, one thing that's probably going to happen no matter your skill level is that, you are putting yourself in a situation where you might accidentally hit the wrong chord. So guitar players will also use bar chords that are rooted on the A string to kind of help facilitate the big jumps. Instead of having to go all the way across the neck to grab things, they're able to almost grab things maybe that are right underneath the bar chord rooted on the E string. So as we talked about before, the bar chords rooted on the E string are all going to be different forms of the open chord, the open E chord. So it's everything from E major, E minor, E minor 7, E7. Likewise, all of the chords that we are going to take a look at that are rooted on the A string, the fifth string, are all different versions of the A chord. So if you look in your books on page 70, if you have the most updated version of the book, or if you're looking at maybe a PDF of an outdated book, page 50 is going to also give you this basically the same page. So if you take a look, they're showing you 5 different versions of the A chord. You have A major, you have A minor, you have A7, you have A minor 7, and you also have A major 7. The major 7 one is new. We did not have that for the bar chord rooted on the E string. So if you take a look, again, normally we play an A chord by using our first 3 fingers. Now they're asking you to do it by going 2, 3, 4, using your middle ring and pinky to make that A chord. The A minor, which used to be our first 3 fingers, is now going to be middle, ring, and pinky. Our A7 chord, which normally was either 2 or 3 or 1 and 2, whichever one you want, is now going to be done with 3 and 4. Our A minor 7, which was normally done with our first 2 fingers, is now being done with our second and third finger. And last but not least, our A major 7, which would normally be done with our first 3 fingers, is going to be done with fingers 2, 3, and 4. And excuse me, again, the same concept applies in the sense that when you start to make the bar, again, and we'll take the major chord. So here's our A major chord. You're going to slide it up 1 fret, and then you're going to put down the bar. The bar is only going to be now 5 strings. So it starts on the 5th string, or the open A, and goes all the way down to the 1st string, the high E string. Now, you can, if you want, bar all 6 strings, because the note above is actually going to be the 5th. So it's going to be like an inversion chord. Some people really like that. If you're into, a good example of this is like Weezer. Weezer loves to, when you're hearing their music, they love to put that 5 on the bottom. It just kind of gives it a little bit more of a meatier sound. That's totally up to you if you want to do that. If you don't, it's just up to you. So now you have this bar chord where its first finger is barring from the A string all the way down to the high E string, so strings 5 through 1, and you're adding, all of these different interpretations. In your book, whichever version you have, on page 70 for the updated one, 50 for the older version, they give you the guitar neck and they show you where all of the natural notes are, so you can kind of start to gauge, put your hand anywhere on the guitar neck and go through the 5 different chords for each one. So like, let's say I'm on the 2nd fret. 2nd fret of the A string is the note B. So I put my bar down and I can make my major chord shape. That's a B major. I can make the B minor shape by doing that. I have the B7 shape. I have the B minor 7 shape, and I also have the B major 7 shape. The book does an okay job of showing off these diagrams, so I actually included a PDF that I really like, and I use it with all of my students, private lessons, other students that I teach in college, along with even my high school kids. This was a really great little document I found. So I included it in the Google Drive folder. It's part of this week's lessons. So I'm going to pull it up real quick to kind of show you what these bar chords look like a little bit better with with them actually showing you what the bar chords look like. Okay. So if you scroll down, here's the top bar chords with the 6th string root. But if you scroll down here, bar chords with the 5th string root. There's B sus. We don't really have to worry about the B sus. But if you look over here, here is your B minor shape. Here is your B minor 7 shape here. Here's your B7. Noticing that, there is a fret in between for B7. Also, there is a fret in between the bar and your fingers for B. Now, there's also another way to play a major chord rooted on the A string. So if you notice here, you have the B chord, which I showed you, and you can kind of look in my up-close mirror from my hand. You have your first finger barring all the way down, and then you have your other 3 fingers being used to make the shape. Another way that you can do it, and if you look on this sheet, if you're kind of following along, you have the alternate form. And the alternate form basically means that you're just putting your first finger down, and your bar is now coming from your ring finger here. Now, the thing is that with this shape, you're not going to be able to get the high E or the low E to come out. And even if you kind of get this kind of weird sort of percussion, but there is a little bit of a pitch, when you're strumming the full chord, no one's really ever going to hear it. Personally, for me, I prefer the alternate form versus this one where I have to use so many fingers, because especially when you're trying to switch, like let's say I'm on an A chord, this is the E shape, so my A is rooted on the 5th fret of the low E, so this is the what we learned last time, and I want to go to something like a D chord. The D chord, rooted on the A string, is also on the 5th fret. So I can take my A chord and then just move up to the D chord, and it's so much easier just to flatten your finger rather than switching from the A to the D, and I'm not used to this, so it takes me a second to even think about it. And especially like if I'm in a pop context playing like a 1-4-1, that is so much easier than doing like my entire attention has to be brought to switching those 3 fingers out. And again, it's because I'm not used to it. So if I was you guys, maybe get used to doing this version that you see here and the one that's also written in the book. But I would also I would go with the alternate form. If you're comfortable with it, if you think you can make it happen, you should totally do it. So again, you have for this week, you're adding now bar chords that are rooted on the A string. So they're all coming off of whatever note your bar is on the A string. And again, you have your major, or this alternate form that I like. And again, you're only going to be worried about the 4 strings if you do it like this. You have your minor, you have your minor 7, you have your 7th, and you have your major 7. On Wednesday, what we're going to do is I'm going to give you guys some worksheets to take a look so that when you're looking at a chord diagram, you can identify these various shapes. And then we're going to get into some like pop exercises that I think are really good exercises that you guys can kind of help to get you more fluent with doing various bar chords, because you can take bar chords that are rooted on the low E string and mix and match them with bar chords found on the A string to play different chord progressions. So it's a very natural thing that guitar players do. And for someone going into general music, this is a great thing to be able to do. If you are going to be, potentially teaching a jazz band and you have a very young guitar player, these are bar chords that, they're going to have to learn how to play to kind of facilitate themselves through a guitar chart. They're not going to, most of the guitar charts are not going to want you playing open chords. Again, if there's anything that you guys don't understand with the A string ones, please leave it in the comments below. I know that this one was a little bit quicker, but since we're just kind of piggybacking off of the concepts from the low E string, I just wanted to kind of move this one a little bit quicker. Again, I'm here for help anytime you guys need it, and I'll see you guys on Wednesday.